Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I wouldn't be seen dead with him. Sure, he's half my size.
And twice your age.
You're right there, Lizzie.
You're the only one of us with a fella, Cissy. Would you tell us who he is? Why does it have to be such a bloody secret?
Oh my God, Catherine. I bet he's RIC.
No.
Sunday, November 7th, 1920. Fractured. A family, a nation, a dream.
That's a cold one, Mary. What are the girls doing in here?
It's my day off, Mammy, as you know. I was to meet up with the girls, but Tomas is off God knows where, and I'm stuck here looking after Mr. Dooley. No offence, Mr. Dooley.
Oh, none taken, Mary? None taken? Just another small one while you're there. Sláinte.
We'll be gone as soon as Tomas comes home.
Yoo-hoo! I just saw you come in, Mrs. Barry, and I thought I'd get those elbow patches you promised me. Oh, holy mother of God!
Are you all right, Mrs. O'Donoghue?
What is a coffin doing in the middle of the pub? Oh, please tell me it's empty.
No, it's poor Larry Brophy. May he rest in peace.
Oh, I'm not the better of that. In God's name, what's he doing here?
There was nowhere else. He lived on his own by all accounts, and the place he lived in was in a bad way.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me. And are you happy with him being here?
'Twas my idea. It'll only be for a short while, just to give people a chance to pay their last respects.
Well, at least the lid is on. It was hard enough to look at him when he was alive.
Ah, now, Mrs. O'Donoghue.
I'm not meaning to speak ill of the dead, but he was a strange man. I never really liked him.
Sure, you hardly knew him. Come on, pay your respects before we go upstairs. Hello, Mr. Dooley.
Morning, ma'am. Mrs. O'Donoghue.
Morning, Mr. Dooley. We've just been to the memorial mass for Kevin Barry.
Oh, was there many there?
The church was packed. I'm surprised you weren't there yourself. You been a big Republican and all.
I was outside Mountjoy Jail last Monday when they hung him. I went to the mass that they had after that. One mass a week is more than enough for me.
Not even one mass a week from what I've seen. And as for that fella in the coffin, I don't think I've ever seen him there.
We can't all be as saintly as you, Mrs. O'Donoghue.
For the last time, he's not RIC. Do you think I'm mad or what?
I don't know, Cissy. Wouldn't put it past you. Some of them are fine things.
Are you blind or what, Lizzie?
She must be. She fancies Tomas.
Mary, don't be so mean about your brother. I think he looks very grown up in his volunteer's uniform. If I wasn't so in love with my mystery man, I might even take my chances there.
Tomas looked very smart in his uniform at Kevin Barry's mass. Terrible pity Sean couldn't be there.
Sean is in England for a few weeks.
England? I didn't think he'd be seen dead there.
Just visiting his Auntie Nora.
I didn't think either of you ladies would go along to the mass. I wouldn't have thought you were supporters of the cause.
You know my feelings on that, Mr. Dooley. But that young lad had a mother too. I went along to pray for her.
And Father Dempsey went to great trouble in preparing a sermon. Sure, I had to go to support him.
I'm sure he appreciates that, Mrs. O'Donoghue.
Oh, he does. He relies on me more than people think. I must say, I thought it was a lovely sermon.
But what was that foolish young lad doing? Breaking his poor mother's heart. Him only 18 years old.
He was fighting for his country.
The way things are going, there won't be much of a country left to fight for. I'm sure his mother would rather have her son than the country.
Well, I met his mother last Monday, and she was proud of her son. Her only regret was that she couldn't bury him in the family grave. They wouldn't even release him after they hung him. The bastards stuck him in a grave inside the jail. Pardon me language.
I still think it's a waste of a young life. What good will come of it?
Kevin Barry was a true martyr for his country. In the week since his death, more people have joined the volunteers than had joined in the last 2 months. The country is answering his call.
Would you listen to yourself? Just another crowd of innocent young men queuing up to be shot at.
He must be one of the volunteers, so.
Tom Farrell, Joe O'Reilly, Patter Milani, a Tim Tyrrell, Daniel Joyce, Patter White,
I'm not telling you.
I bet it's your man O'Reilly.
Seamus O'Rourke, Jim Fitzsimons, Mick O'Dwyer, Con Lavelle.
It's none of them. My man's got class.
Donald Murphy.
Jesus! I said class, not gas. That fella can fart for Ireland.
Tomas, there you are now. I was just telling your mother that you looked very smart in your uniform.
Go straight up and change out of that.
Hello, Mrs. O'Donoghue. Mammy,
I don't want you seen wearing that in the pub. People will be in fear of their lives coming in here.
But
For God's sake, will you just do as you're told?
it's just that Father Dempsey gave me this letter for you.
Oh, the father never mentioned anything to me about that.
Oh, yes, he asked me the other day about supplying refreshments for some event in the college. I asked him to draw up a list.
I wonder what event that would be.
When you've changed, Tomas, come straight back down. There's work to be done. We'll go up, Mrs. O'Donoghue. I'll see if I can put my hands on those elbow patches.
Right you are, Mrs. Barry. And you can tell me all about this event of yours.
Oh, Mrs. Barry, if Joseph is above, will you ask him to drop down? I want a word.
Yeah, I will.
Will you have another drop, Mr. Dooley?
Well, now, Mary, have you ever known me to refuse? Especially when it's going free.
Indeed, and I haven't. The girls and I were noticing sparks flying between you and Mrs. O'Donoghue.
She'd try the patience of Job, so she would. She must drive that poor priest mad.
She'd be a good match for you, Paddy. A well-off widow woman.
Will you stop? God forgive me, but I don't think her late husband fell off Mossy Kinsla's barn roof at all. I'd say he jumped.
God forgive you is right, Paddy.
She's best avoided.
Tomas, you can start clearing the tables and sweep the back. Then you can...
Daddy, I think I know what needs to be done.
Right you be. Young lads, they know it all.
Weren't we the same ourselves?
I suppose. You were looking for me.
I was wondering if you wanted to go to Croke Park the Sunday after next.
Dublin and Tipperary.
That's the one. Donald got 2 tickets, but you know yourself. If Kildare aren't playing, he's not interested. So he gave them to me.
That should be a good one.
Oh, I'd say so. The Jackeens will be out for blood after losing the All-Ireland.
I don't know, Paddy. I think I might leave it.
We'll have a few drinks afterwards.
Yeah, that's the problem. I got an awful time for myself after the last one.
The joys of married life.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know much about that, Paddy.
No, thank God.
What about Tomas? He's never been to Croke Park.
Would he be interested?
I'd say he would.
Would you give him the day off?
Of course. He's a hard worker. He never takes time for himself.
How would Brigid feel about that?
Sure, what's it got to do with Brigid? The lad is 19. He can do whatever he likes. Tomas, come here. Paddy wants to ask you something.
I have a spare ticket to the Dublin-Tipperary match. The Sunday after next, if you'd like to come along.
In Croke Park? Well, I don't know.
You can have the day off.
Oh, I will so. Thanks, Paddy.
That's settled. Give Paddy a top up there, Tomas.
Good man. You were very good to do this for Larry.
Yeah, it's not much. Poor Larry. Sure, there's no one else to do it for him.
But still, there's them that wouldn't bother.
He was a good customer over the years. It's the least we could do.
Did you lay him out yourself?
I did. Wasn't a nice job. I couldn't leave the lid off. You know he was 3 days before he was found.
Oh, I heard that.
No. Poor Larry kept himself to himself when he was alive. I don't think he'd want people gawking at him when he's dead.
No, you're right there.
Anyway, I need to finish off that job in the back. I might see you before you go, Paddy.
Righto. Fill her up there, Tomas. So, I don't imagine there'll be many in to see Larry off.
You're probably the first.
He was a quiet old devil. A decent skin. Sure, there was no harm in him at all.
Did you know him well, Paddy?
As well as anyone, I suppose. He did a few jobs for me over the years. I'll tell you something. He was a great worker. I mean, for his size. I've never seen a man plaster a wall so quickly.
He was a small man, all right.
You could pick him up and put him under your arm.
Poor Larry.
Oh, do you know who I met at the Robertstown match down in Clane last week? Matty Doyle.
Matty Doyle?
You're probably a bit too young to remember. He moved to Robertstown to take on his brother's farm. Mary would remember. Mary, do you remember Matty Doyle? You were friendly with his daughter. Was it Nora?
Mora.
That's it, Mara. He told me a story about a young girl, one of his neighbour's daughters. She had all her hair cut off by the volunteers. Matty said it was in all the papers.
The volunteers?
Hey.
But why would they do that?
Well, the story that Matty had was that she was carrying on with a British soldier.
Oh, right.
Matty was telling me that the same thing has happened in a good few places around the country. What gets into these young ones? Are there not enough decent Irish lads that they could be chasing?
There must be more to it than that.
Sure, what more can there be? She shouldn't have gotten involved with the British soldier in the first place. They're the enemy.
Seamus Muldoon, Porrick Smullen, Jimmy McPherson, Tony McCluskey.
He's married, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and that's why you're keeping him such a secret. It's Tony McCluskey. Oh my God.
Just stop.
We can go now, girls, if you like. Tomas can take care of things.
Tomas, come over here and answer a question for us.
What can I do for you, ladies?
Who do you think is Cissy's secret boyfriend?
Cissy has a secret boyfriend. Well, if I was a betting man...
Which you are. And I always seen you hiding from your mammy in the bookies of a Saturday.
Only because you're looking out for him especially. Isn't that right, Lizzie?
Shut up, Mary. I've better things to be doing with my time.
I'd put my money on Donica Kilbride.
Donica Kilbride. Auntie Anne's Donica.
Donica above in UCD.
Cousin Donica.
Studying law.
Are you mad, Tomas?
What's so mad about that?
No offence, Cissy, but Donica Kilbride has his sights set far higher than you. Donica Kilbride? Jesus. I won't be taking any tips from you for the Grand National, Tomas.
Men, you haven't a clue. Cissy wouldn't look twice at him anyway. Sure you wouldn't, Cissy.
No, of course not.
Will you have another one, Paddy?
I will. One for the road. I'll go after this one. The father'll be wondering what's keeping me.
Who is your father?
Alive. Here's to Larry. May he rest in peace wherever he is.
God rest him.
I've been wondering since I came in. I didn't want to say anything to your father.
What is it, Paddy?
Could he not have gotten a smaller coffin?
What?
Look at it.
It's the usual size.
If you didn't know Larry, it wouldn't look so bad. But you could fit Larry twice into that. Surely there was something smaller.
You'd have to get it in specially, and he couldn't wait long, seeing as Larry wasn't found for a while, you know?
I suppose.
Well, I better get back to work.
Oh, don't mind me. I wonder where he is, though.
Who?
Larry.
I'd hope he's up above, in heaven.
No. I mean, which end?
What?
Which end of the coffin? Unless he's in the middle.
God forgive you, Paddy.
What?
You'll go straight to hell for talk like that, and us with you for listening to you.
Sure, what harm? I'm sure Larry would have no objections.
It's not right, Paddy.
We could always tilt the coffin, and if we heard him sliding, we'd know.
Will you stop, Paddy?
I'm only having a bit of a laugh.
We're leaving now, Tomas. Can you tell Mammy I'll be home by 10?
Bye, Tomas.
I'd better be off too. We'll have to make a plan for our visit to Croke Park. We might slip in early and have a drink or two before the match. Say nothing to your mother and father.
Only if you're buying, Paddy.
Of course. Sure, it'll be your first time there. We have to celebrate.
I don't know, Tomas. He might lead you astray.
Don't mind her, Tomas. She's only jealous that she's not coming along.
I am, of course, Mr. Dooley. A day in your company is every young girl's dream.
Would you go on out of that now? I'm going home now, Tomas, before I get myself into trouble.
Bye, Paddy.
Lizzie, get out. Go on.
I'm going.
Mary,
What is it, Tomas? The girls are waiting?
did you hear what Paddy was saying earlier about the young girl getting her hair cut off?
I heard bits of it. Sure I wasn't really paying attention.
Mary, I hope you know what you're doing.
What do you mean?
I know, Mary.
What are you talking about?
Please, just be careful.
Fractured is a Down at Heel production. All episodes were written by Joe Bergin, Brendan Farrell, Claire Joyce and Martina Riley. Sound engineer is Brendan Farrell. Fractured is supported by Kildare County Council through a bursary from Creative Ireland. It is also supported by the County Kildare Decade of Commemorations programme and the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts, Gaeltacht, Sport and Media under the Decade of Centenaries 2012 to 2023 initiative.